Okay, everybody. Welcome to E360 on the other side. It's nice to have you here. Hi. Okay. This is a little controversial. Here's your quote. Ideas are worthless. That should get a rise out of you when you're doing your journal entries. Ideas are worthless. I'm not sure that I agree. Some days I agree, some days I don't. I'm interested as to what you think about that quote, what it might mean. I'm going to give you some examples to kick it off. But I saw this one time and I think I got it. And then the next day I was like, I don't buy it. And then the next day I was like, I think I get what you're trying to say to me. But I want to tell you a story of two companies. The first company is called Not Just Socks. And the next company is called Potato Parcel. Not Just Socks was a company. Who here has been to Babson? Okay, you've all been to Babson, maybe almost everybody. Babson School for Entrepreneurship, everybody gets around, they're always thinking about ideas. They're always thinking about ideas. My friends and I, we went to Babson, and like within the first 2 weeks, we were always in these rooms, and we were coming up with ideas, and we said, you know, what we found, the problem was that we get socks for our birthdays or Christmas. We get socks as gifts, and socks kind of suck as a gift. Like, I'm just not really that into socks. I'm more into cash or gift cards. So we had this ingenious idea that we would send out socks as greeting cards. Happy birthday socks. And in the sock, we would tuck in a gift card from, let's say, Amazon or from, let's just say Amazon, because that's the only thing that matters on it. This, by the way, was 12 years ago when Amazon was kind of Amazon, and you couldn't walk into any store and just buy any gift card you wanted. So you might be thinking, well, I can get a gift card wherever. That was not a thing 12 years ago. You couldn't just buy gift cards at Rite Aid or CVS. So, Not Just Socks, we talked about it, we made some prototypes, we sent some out, and then we did nothing. We did absolutely nothing. 12 years later, I still think Not Just Socks is a good idea. I'm not sure why we didn't do anything other than the fact that we just dragged our feet and we weren't that into it. Mookie the other day tells me about a company called Potato Parcel. If one of you came to me with the idea of Potato Parcel, I'll be very truthful. I'd say, yeah, go back to the drawing board. That's a ridiculous idea. Here's the concept of Potato Parcel. It's kind of like Not Just Socks, which is cards are stupid and silly, and they don't really have a lot of meaning. They're kind of just plain and generic. So we'll send you a customized potato in the mail. See that gold?
How much?
For $8, a potato. Open up that thing right there in the middle.
This?
Yep.
No.
Go ahead, grab it, Kevin.
Oh, wow. Gold.
Pull that out.
Pallet gold.
We ordered that potato. That says what?
E360 rocks.
E3, it's a real thing. Like Mookie told me about, I couldn't believe it. We paid $8 for a potato that somebody took
Anything
a
else? What's
Sharpie
that card say?
This one?
and wrote E360 rocks.
Warning, do not eat this potato.
Why did we partake in the
Potato salad is
foolishness?
for
To
any
prove a
sickness
point,
of potatoes eaten.
which is, while me and my friends were in a room talking about how cool this could be, these guys were actually sending out potatoes with Sharpies and charged $8 for them and got on Shark Tank and got an investment, correct?
What?
So, oh yeah.
Anything is possible.
So, right, what'd you say? What'd you say?
I said anything is possible now, you guys.
Anything's possible.
Can I see the card?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll look that up now. Shark Tank.
I don't know how this company's gonna do. I can tell you that their costs are pretty damn low. I can tell you that a potato doesn't cost $8.
Neither does a Sharpie.
You know that's
Neither does the Sharpie.
That's exactly what it is.
Pass that potato around. Yeah.
Read the card, Layla.
Have you guys
What's
seen
that card say?
It says, warning, do not eat this
Fascism.
potato. Potato parcel is not liable for any illness if the potato is eaten.
What's the other card side say?
Spread the love of sending a potato with this 10% off discount code. I got a potato. Take a pic of your tater and use hashtag potato parcel to be featured on our social media.
A piece of paper,
It's not even regular. Like, it looks
somebody writing on a
People
potato.
do that with eggplants too. I've seen that before.
People said eggplants now?
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just bringing it up to say, if you came up to me with this idea, what would I say to you? Oh, this is crazy. So what is it, if ideas are worthless, and so we'll skip ahead to your journal prompt, but again, I want to know what you think as you're writing. If I'm telling you ideas are worthless, what is it that really matters, that really has value?
Like turning the idea into something tangible.
Turning an idea into something tangible, so like, what do we call it? If I had to sum that up in one word. Feasibility, action,
Execution.
these two words right here. I mean, it's either action or it's execution. You can sit and talk about how cool not just socks would be, or you can get in a room and start sending potatoes out. And here's the deal. I had a meeting with an entrepreneur on Monday, talked to him about an idea. They sat there for 45 minutes and told me how hard that idea would be. Oh, this is going to be, I'll tell you everything why it can't work. And then at the end they said, but if you really want to do it, just go do it. Like, I'm going to tell you all the things that I think. So you're going to hear from me, from other people, that can't work. You can't send a potato in the mail with Sharpie on it. Every time someone tells you, no, you can't do that, just think about getting a potato in the mail. Like, just think about getting a potato in the mail. The other thing I'll say is if somebody came to me with the idea for a selfie stick,
I would have stopped them.
I would have been like, no. So you don't know. We're not the experts, right? I wouldn't have been like, no, but I wouldn't have got it. And a lot of people might not get your ideas. But what they will get is execution and action. Okay. So there's my little soapbox preach in the morning on potato parcel and why I should have done not just socks. And maybe you all could be receiving not just socks in the mail. We're going to do one more group EOU. All right? We're going to do one more case study. And this case study is from Mookies' famous cookies. All right? Mookie started a cookie company. Here you go. Here you go.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And as you can probably see,
His face, he's like, I did.
as you can see or more likely smell, there are cookies.
Thank you.
There is hot chocolate. And that is
Thank you.
your morning math fry. Okay?
Gotta love
It is
math
unfortunately made with the finest Providence tap water, as you will read. Oh, it's hot cocoa. All
Providence
right,
actually
fair
has
enough.
very clean tap
Chocolate
water.
you'll ever find.
All
I
right.
said Providence actually has very clean tap water.
Yay.
So I'm going to ask that we read this out loud. And I need you to read this with like the energy and gusto of a famous actor on stage giving their best performance ever. And so why don't we just get a dramatic Mookie's kooky reading, and we'll switch off paragraph by paragraph. But I want you to be jotting down and looking for the things that you know is coming, because we're going to be figuring out the EOU here. All right. Loud and proud for us.
Alright. Mookie's Famous Cookies recently launched a winter wrap-up promotion to attract new customers to their gourmet cookie shop and cafe. Serving only the finest cookies and cocoa, Mookie takes incredible care to only work with the finest suppliers. His winter promotion is called Mookie Goes Kookie and offers
God.
delicious cocoa and cookies.
No, it's kooky. You got it.
Oh,
Kooky. Yeah, pronounce it kooky. That's better that way.
This promo you've got an S. It's supposed to be offers.
This promo offer provides.
Oh, my bad.
I didn't, but thank
This
you.
promo offer provides one fresh baked cookie and an 8-ounce hot chocolate with marshmallows for the incredible price of $1.49.
It's not real
Did you
hot
see I
chocolate.
spelled marshmallow right now? You called me out on my error, but you didn't give me credit for changing it when you told me how to spell
My
marshmallow.
bad. I
Unbelievable.
I applaud you for that.
All right, so Mookie Goes Kooky and offers delicious cocoa and cookie for $1.49. We got an 8-ounce hot chocolate with marshmallows at the incredible price of $1.49. Who's bringing us to the next paragraph? Somebody's got to be. James, that's a great hand. I love that hand. With all the gusto of like the most amazing performance on stage.
Mookies famous cookies purchased the finest cookie oven.
Louder so everybody can hear you.
Mookies famous cookies purchased the finest cooking oven on the market. The Wisco Cookie Monster 300, which costs $995.
Jesus.
He uses this amazing oven to bake only the finest cookies, which he purchases from an old childhood friend, Doughboy. Doughboy, who makes and freezes fresh cookies in his cookie factory in Pillsbury, Massachusetts, sells his old friend Mookie cookies in batches of 30. This is his smallest unit of sale, a batch of 30 frozen cookies.
All right, Mookie, who you buying your cookies from?
Doughboy.
And where's he from?
Pillsbury.
So Pillsbury Doughboy, all right? So you're buying the finest Pillsbury Doughboy cookies in a batch of 30. In order to serve the freshest and most delicious cocoa, Mookie's famous cookie uses the wacky water heater upper 10,000 to make perfectly temperatured hot water. This top-notch machine cost Mookie's famous cookies $389. What else you got?
They totally ripped this guy off.
Mookie, the owner of the cookie shop, contracted with his first grade teacher, Miss Swiss, who owns a famous hot cocoa company called Swiss Miss, to import the finest hot cocoa packets for his shop. Miss Swiss sells her hot cocoa in boxes of 10 8-ounce packets at an amazing price.
All right, who's next? Wow, Miss Swiss, Swiss Miss, Doughboy. This is, who's the writer on this? Wow.
Mookie uses the finest Providence tap water to make his amazing cocoa because world around it is known that Providence has the best cocoa making tap water. He pays a penny for every 8 ounces of this delicious water, which he puts in only the finest paper cups, purchased from one very lonely, isolated, hermetic, off-the-grid cup maker named Mr. Solo.
Wow, that is dark.
Was that?
Too, right?
Solo Cup Company. Now we're chugging along. All right, Mookie, let tag yourself in here.
Knowing that good marshmallows are true art and must be artisanally crafted, Mookies famous cookies purchases marshmallows from the finest craft purveyor craft foods. These scientifically jet puffed marshmallows cost $5 per bag, containing 500 marshmallows per bag. Mookie's famous cookies puts 10 marshmallows per cup that give it that beautiful snowy cap mountain look.
Someone bring us home. Someone new bring us home.
Since Mookie is lending his name to Mookie's famous cookies, he wants to be paid a commission every time a promo deal is sold. Mookie demands 25 cents for every unit sold. What is the gross profit per unit for Mookie's Goes Cookie and offers delicious cocoa cookie?
All right. On the next page, you're going to see a receipt from Dave's Market. I wanted to give you a receipt so that you can actually get in the habit of looking at a receipt and doing the math that you got to do to figure out your unit of sale. Rather than it always being in a nicely typed up thing that we create for you, we're going to give you a little bit of real world flavor. You're going to use your receipts a lot of the times to figure out. You've got all the information that you need. There are no things missing in this equation. Everything is in this, whether it's between the receipt or the actual case study. So why don't you partner up with somebody or work on your own, whatever you feel more comfortable with. And as you finish, meet me over at Mookie's famous cookie station to grab yourself a cookie and some hot chocolate. A Mookie cookie, because here's the deal. The next part of this class, we're going to be going over the business plan. We're going to be going through slides. And it is going to be a pretty lecture-heavy, like, here's the deal, here are the words you need to know, here are the terminology. So we're going to have sort of a college level, hey, here's a lecture, here's what you're doing. So I figure we'll start with this, we'll get some cookies, we'll get some hot chocolate, you get comfortable, and then we'll start going through this business plan and going over some real business terminology and the things that you got to do for the next round of getting your business plan to tell those stories through numbers. All right.
When are you guys telling your story through numbers?
January 14th to January 16th.
February.
22nd.
14th and 16th. Does that feel too close? That's like
No.
2 weeks from today?
2 weeks from today.
Perfect.
That's 4 classes because we have guest speakers on Monday. It's 3 classes after today.
Who's our guest speaker?
Phil,
It's on the board.
Oh.
3 classes. Everybody comfortable with 3 classes before you present in class the
Where?
full 18 pages?
Yeah, sure.
Rand?
Why not?
does anybody,
Brandon, if you're not.
Huh?
Wow, I'm confident sells, but I don't know. Go ahead, Brandon.
does anybody know who Donald Rumsfeld is? He had this great quote. There are known knowns, there are unknown knowns, there are unknown unknowns. And he just keeps going on listing. My thing would be, I don't think we know what we don't know yet. I don't know that we are ready. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know yet in this business plan.
Oh.
So I don't know if we want to think about that or we want to kick it over to
You
them.
guys be more comfortable doing it after the break. So
Sure.
you have the week of the break if you wanted to go over it or practice your
Yeah.
presentation and you'd be done.
Yeah.
Now they're not. And
Yeah, now, I think we're going to probably change that. Jody and I are going to talk while you guys are doing Mookie's Famous Cookies. Yeah.
Should on the receipt, should we round like the stuff that's like 99 cents or 99 cents up,
Yeah,
or use it
aren't
as
you?
it is?
So hold on. There's a good question. Here's the deal. Liam, ask that question loud so everybody can hear.
Should we round the stuff that's like 49 cents up to like 4.50?
Round. You can round to the nearest 1 cent. So if it's $3.99, $4.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Because there are no such thing as half pennies. So that works for me. All right. As you finish, come up and meet me. I'll give you the Mookie's Famous Cookie deal.
EOU economics 1 unit formula.
Oh, right.
In your notes. Can someone tell us what it is?
So like unit of sale,
Unit of sale. Price.
the COGs,
Price what?
What's the formula?
cost of
Whoa, say it again.
Revenue minus variable expenses equals contribution minus total cost.
Revenue or price minus variable expenses, whether they're your what? What's another word for variable expenses?
cost of goods sold,
Cost of goods sold or COGS, and then think about any packaging, shipping, other, if you have it, commission equals your contribution margin, or another word for that is?
Gross profit.
So you pay for it once and you keep it. It's a fixed expense. But here's the deal. And I didn't throw this in here, but I want you to be thinking about this. And it's really hard to quantify, meaning it's hard to put a number on it. But if I'm not baking cookies, am I running that machine? Is it on?
No.
Probably not. So when I turn it on to bake cookies, although I get to keep that machine, do I have to pay a little something to have that machine on?
Yes.
What's that? What am I paying for? Electricity, right? To figure out how much electricity we're using right now to run that machine, it's crazy. I wouldn't know how to break that individual thing down. But that's also, I want you to think about if you're in a pizza shop or in a restaurant where, do you think they turn the oven on in the pizza shop right when they get an order, or is the pizza shop oven on the whole time?
It's on the whole time.
It's on the whole time. So if you're really running a restaurant or something, that oven's on. You're like waiting for something. So that thing's running throughout. So you're incurring some expense. So just know that there is some energy, some utility, something you got to be aware of. If you're running a vacuum cleaner to clean a car, the vacuum just doesn't run the whole time. The stand-up mixer that you might use to make a natural product is not just running in your backyard the whole time, all the time. But in order to quantify that energy is kind of challenging. So it's not in our version, but I want you to be thinking about that and knowing there is some energy expense there. Okay. We then get to the next piece of information, which is what? After we get through the $995 red herring, what's our next piece of information? The cookies. So now we know that, tell me what you know about the cookies. They come in a batch of 30. And how much does a batch of 30 cost? $4.50. So we use the same formula every time. $4.50. We divide the money by the units, and we end up with 15 cents per cookie. All right? So that was our first step. We're looking at how many cookies did we purchase? 30. How much did they cost? $4.50. We take $4.50 and we divide it by 30. We get to our next red herring. What is it? Somebody else other than Gabriel. Yeah, Layla.
The wacky water heater up of 10,000 or 399.
It's another example of what?
The fixed expense.
It's another example of a fixed expense. Okay? It's a fixed expense. You buy it. At the end of the day, you keep it. Great. So as you're going through these things, I would just say, oh, Cookie Monster, cross it out. Wacky water heater, cross it out. All right, so then we get to probably the most difficult thing on here. And again, it's really about reading the receipt. You would have had to have been looking for it. Carla's in the food business. She picked up on it right away because you probably see these things with your receipts. If you were the one who purchased them this morning, you probably would have remembered that you bought 2, but since you weren't there. But the big thing here was that we purchased 2 boxes of Swiss Miss. Each one had 10. To find out how many total we purchased was 20 units. And how much did those 20 units cost?
15 cents.
Total. How much did they cost total?
$3.
$3. So $3 divided by our 20 units, again, 15 cents. And the rest, I'm not going to go through the rest because unless, you want me to go through the rest? No. Show of hands, who wants me to go through the rest? You've all done this already, right? So I'm not going to go through all of it. But the rest was in here, not on the receipts, right? Except for those solo cups, which somebody figured out, how many did you buy for $4.50, right? So that's just sort of the lens you need to be looking through all of your EOU stuff. You should be saving your receipts. You should be trying to figure out what's the per unit cost of each of the things that I put into that material or to make that product. What's the material cost for each one of those things? And it's a lot of how much did it cost? How many did I get? I divide how much I spent by how many I got to figure out the per unit cost of each ingredient. Okay. And scene. Take a 2-minute break, 3-minute break. In that break, I would like for you to come back with your business plan either pulled up or your slides, or ready to start looking through your business plan and the next 4 or 5 slides, which we're going to go through together. And it's a note-taking class. Please be ready to take notes and ask a ton of questions because there's no way you're going to understand all of it because it's all very new. So just come back in about 3 minutes prepared to have your business plan open and your slides. Yes? I'll be right there. I just want you to have your slides. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's all I want for you right now is to have your plain slides for everything after the business model. So, did we enjoy Mookies Cookies?
Yeah.
Carlos cookies.
Did we want to say thank you to Carla?
Thank you,
Thank you,
Carla.
Carla.
Thank you.
Appreciate you getting that done for us. All right.
I'm about to expose your company.
Here's where we're at. This is the slide we're on. We're on the business model slide. So let me be real clear about everybody's homework. Your homework is to have shared with me, to continue to work on that document that you've shared with me that is your business plan. Or if you're starting a new one, make sure by Friday, 10 o'clock, you've shared with me a document that has your first 10 slides done. We've already done up to 5 to 6, and then you also have your qualifications done, but I want you to have the next 3 to 4 done. And if not done, then started. And when I say started, filled in so that we can have a conversation about how to refine them and improve them. All right. So here's where it gets terminology heavy. Here's what I just got to get some stuff out there for you. We've done this side. Definition of 1 unit. What's your definition of 1 unit? What is the name of your unit? It was the Mookies cookies, 8 ounces, 10 marshmallows, 1 cup, 8 ounces. You've got to pick something very specific, and then you've got to have your cost of variable materials, and you will have had to have decided what you want to make for a commission. Yesterday, Gabriel and I sat down, and we had a conversation around what Gabriel wants to make an hour, and how we would figure out what his unit of sale would cost based off of his commission and labor. Raise your hand if you've met with me one-on-one to figure out what you want to make an hour and how long it takes to make your unit of sale. Raise your hand if you've had that conversation with me. I got one person here, I got one person kind of over there, I got one person over here. If you haven't met with me, we're not going to be able to do this in this class together. There's just too many one-on-ones. So you've got to find a time to meet with me so we can have a conversation about what you want your commission to be. So that's like something you got to keep in the back of your mind right now. You should be asking to meet with me to figure out what you want to make and how we're going to determine that commission. This side of the slide, the description of expenses, variable material expenses. You should have already figured out the material expenses that go into your unit of sale. It's essentially this variable material expenses is just broken out here. It's just a list of all the things that you figured out with your printing, your t-shirt, your printing, the card, the envelope. This is just a list. So everything up to this point we've done. I want to talk about fixed expenses. As I'm thinking about this now out loud, I'm realizing that in some ways I could have been a little misleading in terms about what a fixed expense is. What we've been calling fixed expenses, the water heater upper, what was the other thing? Oh, the baking oven. I would actually classify those as startup expenses, okay? Those are expenses that you pay at the very beginning to get yourself started up. Your vacuum, I gotta have a vacuum to start up. Maybe a screen printing machine, Liam. I gotta have a screen printing machine to start up. My video camera and my computer that I'm using to take videos and upload them onto YouTube, those are startup expenses. Fixed expenses are expenses that you incur every single month, no matter if you make or sell any of your units of sale. They're the things that come every single month, no matter if you sell or don't sell. The price of them, the cost of them do not change from month to month. They're happening every month. I've given you one good example of that. Can you remember what it was?
The electricity. How much?
So that one's a funny one. It's fixed because you know you're going to get a bill, but it does vary based off of, hey, I made a lot of pizza this month, so I turned my second pizza oven on, right? So it's kind of it's a hybrid. It's a little bit of both.
You mentioned renting out like a space. You
Right.
have to pay it every month regardless.
You pay rent regardless every month. If you get a garage, if you get a kitchen, if you get a doggy daycare spot, no matter if you bring in any customers, you're paying that rent, okay? Give me an example of a monthly expense that one of you has every single month.
Car insurance.
Car insurance. If you have insurance on your business, Mookie and I have talked about insurance on his business. We've talked about insurance for your business. If you have insurance every month, meaning, hey, I've got to protect myself in case somebody's dog gets sick under my care, in case I scratch somebody's paint job, in case if I'm running an origami class and someone cuts themselves with a scissor or gets their hand glued to the table, they have to surgically remove their hand from the table. That could happen, you know.
Oh, really?
I've seen it. If you have insurance, you're paying for it every month. The whole point of paying for it every month is you hope you're never going to have to use it, but you still got to pay for it every month. Give me another example So you said insurance, you pay for that every month. Yes.
Cell phone and Wi-Fi?
Cell phone and Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
No matter if 100 customers call you or no customers call you, they're coming for their monthly bill. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about, for your business, do you think that there are things that you are going to need? Rent, insurance, internet, cell phone, maybe a website that costs you $12 a month, $15 a month.
If you have to pay your employees.
Okay. Salary is a great one. So salaries of employees. Let's think about it like this. Who here thinks they're going to have employees right off the bat? Right off the bat.
I mean, does yourself count?
So that's a good question. Does yourself count? Where do you show up as yourself? Where do you show up in the expenses? In the commission and the labor expense. So yes, you are paying yourself, and you show up in the commission and the labor line. My guess is that starting out, very few of you are going to have employees. Though if you do, I'm wondering, Mookie, are you going to pay someone based off of the car that you detail? Or are you just going to have someone on salary every month that you're paying no matter if you get a customer or not?
Probably based on the car.
So what does that sound like? A fixed expense or a variable expense?
Variable.
Variable. So you might need to find that and put that in your labor. Are you going to have a bunch of people who are caterers for you that are working for you round the clock, or are you going to pay them per catering gig that you get?
Per catering gig.
So what's that sound like to you?
Variable.
It sounds like variable. At this point, most of you are going to have a variable labor expense. One day, you're going to have employees that you're paying all the time. One day, you're going to have employees that you're paying all the time because you got a steady stream of cars and you know they need to be there, and you got a steady stream of catering events, so you know that they got to come in. But right now, I'm highly doubtful that you're going to have a line item fixed expense of, hey, I'm paying a salary to someone every month. Okay. So your homework now is to think about what fixed expenses do I want. Remembering cell phone, remembering website, remembering, here's a big one that we haven't talked about. There's an old phrase, you got to spend money to make money. You got to spend money to make money. Tell me a place where you could spend money every single month that is designed to help you make more money. What might you be doing? Every month I go and spend $50 to do this thing, hoping that I'm going to generate business. Gamble? So funny enough, this thing is a little bit like gambling, but it's not. What?
The lottery.
The lottery? No, you ain't playing the lottery every month, although you could, but probably don't do that on your company's dime because you might go to jail.
Is that illegal?
Really?
Probably to use company funds to play the lottery
What if you're gonna split it?
with the company. I don't know, but you know
I gotta
what?
look into
I don't
that.
want to be your lawyer.
No.
You go get your own. You go get
I
your
don't
own
think
lawyer.
anybody wants to be my lawyer.
I'm not talking about shares. You had your hand up. What do you got?
Oh, I was gonna say the lottery.
You were going to say the lottery too. All right.
Investment.
Here you go.
What's his
Marketing. Marketing. It's kind of like a gamble. Remember that quote? Half of the money I spend on marketing gets wasted. I just don't know which half. Half of the money, 99% of the money I spend on the lottery gets wasted, but I don't know when I'm going to win. So I keep playing. I don't know when my marketing is going to work, but we keep marketing. So give me some examples of marketing expenses that you might have each month. What might you be doing to market your business?
Website hosting.
So website hosting, we've talked about this one, right? Website hosting. What else?
Commercials.
You could run a commercial. Those are expensive. You could run a commercial on what platforms?
Radio.
The radio,
Cable.
cable, the internet, Google. So yup, you can run ads. Great.
Can you define what a variable expense is?
I can define what a variable expense is. A variable expense is an expense that is tied directly to the making and selling of a unit. The making and selling of your product. It's kind of like encapsulated like this. If you use it, you lose it. A variable expense changes based off of how many units you sell in a given period. And so to put a fine point on that, let's say you're making a t-shirt. It costs you the same to make each of those t-shirts based off of what you've calculated. But what your variable expense are for the month, Giselle, will be based off of, well, how many t-shirts did you make that month? If you made 50, it's more than if you made only 25, or if you sold 25. So it varies based off of your sales. Variable expenses change based off of your sales, where your fixed expenses stay the same no matter if you sell or don't sell. Variable expenses are directly related to delivering your product or service. And they change based off of how many you deliver. Does that answer that question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So we've talked about marketing. There's one other big marketing thing that you all, so you've given me great ones, you all have really good access to and really cheap access to, and you're sort of sitting right in the heart of it.
A room, a place to work.
What's going on over in those rooms?
Working.
The print shop.
The print shop, flyers, business cards, pamphlets. I get that it's old school.
It works.
Not only does it work, but it's a lot cheaper to get business cards here than to go out there. It's a lot cheaper to get flyers here. So print material, that's another marketing expense that you might have every month. Okay, let's move on. Next slide, market analysis. Wow, this one. This is Dennis. This is one of the most prescriptive slides, meaning when you get a prescription from the doctor, they're telling you what to do. This slide is very prescriptive. It is telling you what you're going to do. Okay? It's got a format. The first thing it's asking you is your industry name. Bless you.
Thank you.
Does anybody want to take a guess at what their industry is? Yes. Brian is in the menswear industry, which is actually, if you had to say the industry above menswear, because that's very specific, which is great. That's what I want. What is menswear a part of?
Clothing.
The clothing or fashion industry. So you can be in the clothing or fashion industry, but then you can get a little bit more specific as you go down. So for instance, Mookie, I would say you're in the automotive industry. The automotive industry contains all cars sold, all services done. That includes Jiffy Lube. That includes Belize Toyota. That includes dealerships, second or aftermarket car parts, tints. That includes everything. So what industry would you say that you're really a part of if you were being specific? The auto detailing and car cleaning industry, okay? So, Gabriel, what industry are you a part of? I didn't hear that at all.
Arts?
Arts. Okay, so the arts is a huge industry. So we talked about that you're an artisan, maybe a craft maker. I might think that you're part of the craft market, of the art and craft market, okay? You will probably have to meet with me. What industry are you a part of?
Beauty and cosmetics.
Beauty and cosmetics. Wonderful. If you got more specific, what would you look for?
Natural beauty.
Natural beauty, right? So here's the deal. You're in the greeting card industry, right? Truly. What's that? Yeah. So what I want you to do, and here's some really great search terms. Once you've determined what industry you're in, here's what you need to Google. Name of your industry, and then you want to put revenue These are all different searches you're running. Total revenue. Industry sales. Market size. So, beauty and cosmetics, revenue. Beauty and cosmetics, total revenue. Beauty and cosmetics, industry sales. Beauty and cosmetics, total industry revenue. Total market size. These are just search terms, okay? I'm going to teach you what I think is a pretty cool trick. It's helped me immensely in my time as a semi-professional Googler. Who believes themselves to be a very good Googler? Who thinks that Googling is an art form and a skill? Do you think there are some people that are like, how'd you find that so quick?
Google does all the work.
Oh, Google still doesn't do all the work yet. There are ways that you can be a more efficient Googler, right? The things you put in are going to affect the things that come out. I want to teach you this trick, and maybe you already know it. PDF. If you've ever received a PDF document, it's a static document. You can't make changes to it. It's a file extension type. Most of these high dollar, really expensive, well-researched reports are in the form of PDFs, so you can't change them. They exist in these documents. Put PDF after everything you search. Search it without, and then search with PDF. You'll find that you can bring up lots of PDFs, which are usually high-quality reports from reputable sources. By the way, you can do this with everything. You can put PDF after every search term, and you'll be shocked at the stuff that comes up. Excel, you can put XCL after things. You don't have to do it for this, I'm just giving you the trick. If you're looking for a certain spreadsheet or some data, you type in XCL, it's going to bring up data sheets for you, like Google or Google Sheets. Yeah.
What was the second word?
Here?
Yeah.
This is total industry revenue. All right? So this is just a little pro tip. Put PDF. You'll be amazed at the results you get.
What is the difference between revenue and total industry revenue?
You gotta not mumble so much for me.
What's the difference between revenue and total industry revenue?
There is absolutely no difference between revenue and total industry revenue other than you're giving Google more search terms. These are, I want you to search all of them because you don't know what they categorize their report as, right? So these are just different ways to say the same things, which I think is about being a good Googler, right? Knowing, oh, I can say it like this and maybe they'll pick up what I'm trying to say. Or maybe the person that put that report out there didn't call it this, but they called it this. So these are some of the things you would want to search. And what you're looking for is the annual industry sales. You're looking for the size of that market. So all these are meant to populate this. If you don't know the name of your industry, let's do this because it's totally fine. Who here feels like they don't know the name of their industry? Let's just go around, either say the name of your industry or say I don't know, and we'll all help you figure it out so that you can leave this class right now. It's fine if you don't know. You might not have to, right? So somebody start. Let's just do this real quick. Let's not make this a big deal.
The technology industry?
So you're in the technology. I would put a finer point on that and say what?
The app industry?
The app industry. All right, so you are in the application industry, which there are tons of market reports on how big that industry is and how much it's growing.
Arts and craft industry?
Arts and crafts industry, what were you in?
Like, I don't know how to describe, probably like accessory
Nailed it. For what?
for technology.
Cell phone accessories. Cell phone accessories market, huge market, huge. All right, Leah, what do you got?
Natural beauty.
Natural beauty industry.
Costume design. I don't.
Okay, so costume design, probably
Props.
too specific. Props. Somebody might even make the argument that you could be in the toy industry in some ways, but we're gonna have to work together. So costume props, aftermarket, maybe niche toys, and we'll think about that. James, what do you got?
Clothing and design.
Clothing and design? Great.
Pet care.
Pet care.
Food industry.
Food industry, if you had to be more specific. Catering. Menswear.
Clothing and design.
Clothing and design. Loud so I can hear you.
Auto detailing.
Greeting card industry.
Urban fashion.
Great. Fashion? Fashion industry. Okay. For the fashion industry people, we got to get that a little bit more. That's a $1.2 trillion global industry. That is like too big for me to even like wrap my head around. So we got to get a little bit more niche. I like what you did there. It was a little bit more niche. We'll work together. You and I need to work together. So if we didn't figure it out here, come see me afterwards. We'll spend 3 minutes and we'll get it done. Okay. Whew. Here we go. Love this. This box right here, I should say, and this is what I meant to say when I said prescriptive, this slide has to stay in this exact format. You need to have this box, this quadrant. And we're going to go through what this stuff is. Demographics. This box is essentially, well, let me take a step back from demographics. This box is describing your ideal customer. This box is meant to tell your judges who you think your customers are. You follow that? This box, who your customers are. The first thing they want to know are the demographics. What does demo, D-E-M-O, you see it in the word democracy, what does demo mean in Greek? People. Describe for me the type of people in the most basic forms. Tell me about their ages. How old are they? I only sell to 19-and-a-half-year-olds. Probably not. An age range, okay? So what's the age range? And you guys have been good about, well, I sell to millennials. That's a generational age range. Do you know what you all are? You called out somebody, which was nice, which was, you're not a millennial. I'm a millennial. You guys are, what's that?
Something X.
Generation Z?
Yeah,
Generation X. So I think it's,
No, Gen X is the
I think
one
you're Z.
before millennials.
You're Z. And then they give you a name. You guys have a, like, millennials has a letter corresponding to it as well. But then they call us millennials because we came of age in the new millennium. I've heard one that's really scary for you all. You're essentially, millennials ends after 2000s, like right in the early 2000s. And so September 11th, 2001, Homeland Security became like a big deal. We kind of entered into this new world where there was more looking at what was going on and a little bit more concern around terrorism. And you guys grew up in this post 9/11 world, so they call you the Homeland generation, kind of like that show Homeland. Like the Homeland generation, having grown up under, that's just one name for you all. I would find a better name if I were you. So go look up the better name. So I want ranges, and here's what I'm going to say. You're going to see this a lot. I didn't want that. Primary and secondary. You can have a primary target market, a primary age range. What do you think I mean by that?
Who you most want to sell to?
Who we most want to sell to. Who do you think is your primary numero uno, number one customer? Who are they? I'm not asking you right now. This is your homework to go figure that out. Your secondary are what?
Their parents.
You might want to buy it.
The people who you believe are part of your target market but might be a little bit of a harder sell. That aren't as like totally, oh yeah, these are the people, right? And so you can do that for age ranges. You can do that for gender. So you might want to think about, now here's one of the things. You can do both genders. You can say, well, this is a male-focused product. You get to pick and you get to do, and where do you think that information's coming from? How would I decide? Research. Say that loud for me.
Research.
What kind of research? Well, how would you do it?
Research card detailing.
Louder.
I would do it. I would talk to people in my community.
It's as simple as talking to people in your community. You can either talk with them one-on-one, or you can do a survey to figure out who's really. So, to describe the people, we can talk about age, we can talk about gender, we can talk about ethnicity. So you talk a lot about authentic foods, ethnic foods, so that might come into play with your customer, but it might not. All right? So that's demographics. The next one, geographics. Geo, geography. Geography is the study of what?
Land.
Land, place. Where are your customers located? There are two ways that we can think about this. Who here plans to sell their products online? If you're selling your products online, that means you can sell where?
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Okay? So if you're selling online, you could sell anywhere. Just because you can sell anywhere doesn't mean that you're going to sell anywhere. I'll be super stereotypical, but Liam,
Yeah.
are your cutting edge, trendy fashion clothes gonna work well in on a rural Oklahoma farm?
Most likely not.
Probably not. There might be a pretty fashion-forward farmer out
That'd
there.
be nice.
They might do some cool photo shoot on I don't know. But you've got to think about, where are my products most likely going to sell based off of, here's the demographics of the people I'm targeting. Where are they? Where are they? Are they in urban centers? Are they in rural areas? Are they in, now let me ask you a question. Marilyn, can you watch a dog through the internet? No, unfortunately. Can you drive your car to New York City?
That's far.
Can you do it though?
Yeah.
Are you gonna go watch a dog in New York City? No. Just because you can drive your car to New York probably doesn't mean that Marilyn's gonna be going outside of a 20, 25 mile radius for her product or service.
And maybe you already did, do a plug for Maryland by doing the fish tank panel. What happened?
Want to tell us what happened?
Someone in the audience, right, contacted you?
Yeah.
Tell them, I already know, Brandon knows.
What do you want me
Tell
to
us the
Tell us the story.
Oh, I was practicing my pitch in the conference room, and Carla's, the P Street social worker, is it? She was in there, and she said that I made her feel bad for her dog, and she wanted my business card, and then she emailed me, and now I'm gonna dox it. I'm gonna go over her house this Sunday, and I'm gonna dox it Saturday the 17th, and then dox it for a whole weekend in May.
For real money.
Customer.
How much? $12 an hour?
Yeah.
You know what's really cool too? You gave her a business card. You were in here the day before printing the business cards. So had you not had a business card, maybe she'd be like, oh, she's not legit. But maybe that business card made all the difference, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice work.
What's her name?
Sheila.
So, where are you selling? Who are you selling to? Psychographics.
How do they think?
How do they think? Psyche. How do these people think? And that's really around, okay, they're walking around with some bamboo spoons on their belt so that they don't have to waste a bunch of plastic. Those people are very eco-conscious.
They're really cool too.
Oh, they're the coolest.
They're probably the best.
They're the coolest.
Do you
I actually don't.
Oh.
So how do they're eco-conscious. Maybe they're extremely fashion conscious. They want to be up on the latest trends. They want to be in the know. Someone give me an example of the way you might think, the way a marketer might describe you. How do you think the marketers in New York City are describing you?
Really eco-conscious.
So eco-conscious? Would you describe yourself as socially conscious?
Definitely.
So probably there's this group of people where they're saying, okay, there are socially conscious people out there who are concerned with the impact that their products have on the world, the things that they're buying. What else? What other ways are you all being described by the marketing bigwigs in New York without you even realizing it? Because you are being described and you are being marketed to.
Does that mean just like personality?
Do they use the word cool in marketing?
They do use the word cool. What was that? What word?
Is it like
Loud so I can
they
hear
base
you.
you on like personality?
They want to know things about your personality, right? How do you think? How do you operate in the world? What is important to you? If you are, raise your hand if you're interested by design or art. So, design focused, concerned with design, they're going to start to think about, oh, some people, I just want the best price. I don't care what that thing looks like. I need a water pitcher for my house, and I need it to hold water and pour water. Other people are like, well, this water pitcher needs to say things about me and who I am. When someone walks in my house, they've got to say, you've got that water pitcher? I didn't know you were so cool. Do you have bamboo forks? Wow, you care about the environment. So these things say. So I want you to think about how your people are thinking. And then lastly, buying patterns. Where do they buy? When do they buy? How do they buy? Maybe there's someone who's really concerned, as we said, maybe they're fashion conscious, and each season they buy new clothes. Every season they have a pattern. They go and they buy new clothes for the upcoming season so that they look the best. Maybe they're super eco-conscious and they have decided they're not going to buy any new clothes for the entire year. Okay? These are buying patterns. These are things that maybe they're super eco-conscious, so they buy only at thrift stores or secondhand. What are the buying patterns of the people that you're selling to? Okay? Yes?
I thought that was like the question.
Oh, do you have a question for me?
No.
Okay.
Kind of disappointed we can't just.
Let me now open this up for, we've gone over demographics, geographics, psychographics, buying patterns. And we did it kind of fast. Questions for me? Stuff you don't understand.
The little triangle that's right next to the
Yep.
slide, is it like for the industry?
So we're going to talk about this right now.
Okay.
Nice segue. Thank you. I owe you $1. We need to change the battery. Okay. One moment.
No, we don't.
I can't.
This is more uncomfortable than the Mona Lisa.
They're just looking at you.
Looks like he's swaying a bit.
Where's Brandon?
So, Brennan, you go.
Oh, they changed my battery. Okay. I just had to recharge there. All right. So this is target market size. So here's the deal. This is describing your target consumer, your target market, and these decisions are going to affect just how many people are out there for you to target. And this, what's that look like other than an upside down triangle or
An
a
ice cream
cone?
cone.
Funnel.
A what?
Funnel.
A funnel. How'd you know that?
I used funnel before.
You've used the funnel before. Tell me about the funnel.
Put things in the top, stuff comes out the
You
bottom.
put things in the top and stuff comes out the bottom. Does it all come out at once?
No.
Flows even.
It flows nice and even. How high?
Hey, hi.
You're changing your oil.
Oh, let me hear.
Hi, Sean.
So as you put things at the top of this funnel, although the way funnels really do work, like what you put in the top comes out the bottom, it just comes out slower. This funnel is sorting, and we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller and more defined.
It's like a crucible.
So, I'm going to go through this pretty quick, and you're going to have to come meet with me to figure these numbers out. But essentially what we're saying is, okay, if I'm selling to millennials, and only millennials, How many millennials are there? Okay. Well, there are 75. Let me erase this so we can.
Oh no, we got $9 on the table.
$8.
Oh, please.
$8.
We need 99, right?
It was $8.
So we're going to sell to millennials. And if I can remember correctly, there's about 75 million millennials in America. So U.S. millennials. I decided geographically, I'm selling in the United States. I decided by age, I'm selling to millennials. And then I decided that my product is going to be specifically for women. And so then what I realized, and so again, remember, other people can go buy your product, right? It's not that, oh, this product is designed, or it is designed for women, let's say, but lots of other people can buy it. But you're saying, if I was going to market my product and spend my money on marketing, I think I'd get the most bang for my buck targeting places where I think women are going to be reading, watching, hanging out, talking. So, I think it's like 51% female, 49% male. So let's just call it 50-50. 37.5. 50% of that, I believe, is 37.5 million. So now my funnel gets a little bit smaller because I picked the age, then I picked the gender. And then I said, but I'm only targeting US millennial women who are super eco-conscious. So I go online and I start to do some research around eco-conscious buying patterns, eco-conscious trends. I might ask Google, how many people identify themselves as eco-conscious? You'll find a lot of stuff out there, and what I find is 10% of people, making it up, identify as eco-conscious. So now 10% of 3.75 is 3.75, or 37.5 is 3.75 million people. I've gone from 75 million people down to 37.5 million, down to 3.75 million. I'm getting more and more niche. I'm going to stop here because we could add some buying patterns in, but I just wanted you to see. You start here. What's the total population of all the people that identify as my target customer? And then as I make more and more refined decisions about who it is that I think I'm targeting, my funnel gets smaller and smaller. You will need to meet with me. You will just have to. There's no way that you've got the search words yet to be able to find the information that I think you need. Now I could be 100% wrong. I hope that you can do it. But I would like to help you, okay? I'd like to help you try to discern and drive this down. Okay, that's a high-level overview of the marketing funnel. In your mind, you should be like, oh, I really got to go see Brandon about this. Questions on that? Questions on where that data comes from? Where do these numbers come from?
Maybe survey?
From a survey, maybe.
From the internet.
From the Census Bureau, maybe?
From the Census Bureau. The internet, as in, hey, I found a great article from the Wall Street Journal that had given me a quote around what percentage of people do this certain buying thing. I found a really great report from Nielsen, Nielson, Nielsen. They're a huge market survey group that does lots of market surveys to try to figure out this sort of stuff. A lot of people are going to want you to pay for this information online. There are ways to be crafty and get the things that you need, but it takes a lot of effort. And to Gabriel's point, this last one, market size, is going to be based on a survey that we're going to design and you're going to conduct to see of the people you have decided you're going to target. You're going to go find them and you're going to survey them and show them your product and see what they want to buy. We've designed surveys in the past, but you're going to have to design one specifically for your business. Again, this is to introduce you to the concepts. The real work gets done outside and after class. C, next slide. Marketing and sales. Ooh, I love this one because it's blank. And it's not as prescriptive. Here's what you got to do here. And this is where I want to take a moment to say, you are preparing a business plan for both your own purposes and also to compete in a competition. And the rubric that the judges in the competition use asks this one very specific question. Has the participant given 5 or more marketing and sales tactics that include both online and offline tactics? I have it memorized. That is right there in the rubric. They are looking for you to include at least 5 marketing tactics that are both online and offline. And so we had a little conversation when we talked about fixed expenses, but right now, think for 30 seconds, not even, and just think of one marketing tactic that you are going to use to get your name out there for your business. And then, as it pops into your mind, let's just start calling them out. Just start saying out loud some marketing tactics that you think are going to appear on this slide. Flyers.
YouTube.
I'm going to market, I'm going to post a whole world full of flyers or my geographic area. Great. YouTube. How do you mean? How YouTube? What are you going to do on YouTube?
Market through a video. Or you can also pay to have YouTube put your advertisements on certain videos that they allow to monetize through AdSense.
So you're either going to market and pay for your product to be marketed before somebody else's video, or you're going to make your own content and put your videos on YouTube. So 2 different strategies on YouTube. Either your own, or you're going to pay to feature your video or your product on someone else's.
Social media.
Social media. Huge catch-all. If you don't have social media on your slides nowadays, even your judges, who are past being the age of millennials, they're going to look at you and be like, come on, where's social media? They're going to be looking for social media. That's what we would call low-hanging fruit. Meaning it's the fruit that's easiest to pick from the tree. If you don't do it, everybody's going to be like, why didn't you do social media? But I would challenge you to be more specific. I don't know what you mean by social media. Which platforms? Why? What's the average age of a Facebook user? It's old. Be careful now.
18.
You don't even.
18?
Yeah.
18 to 30.
What did you mean by old? 39.5 the last time I checked. The average age of a Facebook user is 39.5. Is Facebook social media?
Yes.
What's the average age of a Snapchat user?
12.
I don't actually know, but it's teenage, I would guess.
Yeah.
So when I say I advertise on social media, do I mean Facebook or do I mean Snapchat? And why have you chosen that? I've chosen Facebook because my product is geared towards people ages 35 to 50. I've chosen Snapchat or Instagram because it's targeted to millennials and those who are younger. So make a decision based off of your target customer. There are many platforms you can be on with social media, so be specific. We got social media, we got flyers, we have YouTube, what else?
Word by mouth.
Word of mouth. Do not underestimate word of mouth. There's a rule of thumb. It's not like a totally scientific thing, but here's the rule on word of mouth. If you do something good, you clean somebody's car and you do a great job, how many people, Leah, are they going to tell? If Mookie cleans my car, amazing, how many people am I going to go tell?
Everybody that has a car.
Everybody that has a car? Who wants to?
Everybody that he or she knows.
Everybody that I know. Mookie's the best.
I think if you do bad, they tell more people.
Yeah, that's also true.
If you do a good job for somebody, on average, they'll tell 2 people. On average, I'll go and be like, man, I got car detail looked great, was phenomenal. I'm really happy to tell you about this guy you should really use. If Mookie does a bad job cleaning my car, how many people on average do I tell? 5?
And
Everyone.
Everybody.
On average, you tell 8 people. Yeah. So, Dave, you hit the nail on the head. If you do a bad job, I'm going to tell as many people as I can. It's just human nature. It's kind of crazy, right? But from your own experience, you know this to be true. So word of mouth is big. And as you think about word of mouth, keep in mind, people aren't going to talk about your good stuff nearly as much as they talk about the bad stuff. So you've got to do a really good job of helping them share your message. So in terms of word of mouth, how can I facilitate some of that word of mouth stuff? What might I do to get people talking about me? Go door to door. Okay.
Social impact.
Have a social impact. So do I tell them about it?
Yeah, I feel like I would like give them another like incentive to have them.
So give people an incentive to talk about you through your social impact. But how do I make sure that I know my car detailer has a social impact? How do I make sure that my origami artist has a social impact? How do I make sure that my dog walker, dog sitter has a social impact?
personable.
They're personable, sure.
Events.
Events. You can host events. You can be personable. You can offer them deals, referrals. If you refer a friend, you get 10% off on your next dog sitting. If you generate or give my business card to somebody and they call, if I cater for you and you tell everyone how great I did and someone says, we heard about them from customer XYZ, well, the next time you get your event catered, the person that referred you, we give you a discount. The first $50 of food is on us, something like that. So you can facilitate that by giving them referral cards, by giving them a pamphlet on your social impact that they might leave at the front desk of their business to say, we deal with a responsible vendor. So you can facilitate that. Okay, what other marketing sales tactics are there? And you've mentioned them already in the last slide, but we can dig deeper. Think for your business. I haven't heard from everybody. Leah, how are you going to get people? I see your problem. I don't know. It's natural. It looks a little brownish. I don't think I'm gonna. It looks like dirt. I'm not gonna use that. I'm afraid of it.
I don't know. Working like one-on-one with them.
Okay, and how do you think Leah might get me over this fear of your natural product kind of looks a little too natural?
Nice packaging.
Okay, so nice packaging. Packaging is definitely a marketing expense. Really good point of sale material. I have a really beautiful display at a store that cost me some money, so I look really high end.
How about like if I test them out?
How about if you test? How about if you let me use some of it and I realize that my skin is perfectly beautiful and natural and all this great stuff and I have a great experience that I'm otherwise too afraid to do because I don't want to spend $15 and not like it. So product demos and trials are huge for you. Okay? My fashion people. What's a way to market? It's like the most fun way you can all market your stuff.
Free stuff.
So free stuff is nice. You can do promotions. You can give away free stuff that gets expensive fast. So yes, I'm thinking for you personally.
Fashion show.
Why is my origami artist calling out fashion show and my fashion designers are sitting here saying, I want to give my stuff away for free. Just give it out for free. I don't need it. Come on, it's a fashion show. And I know it's on your plan. This is a big deal. Fashion show, right? Okay. 5 online and offline. You get to pick the mix, but you've got to have a balance of both. And you should be picking channels and tactics that match your target market. If I sell to millennials and I advertise in the newspaper, how's that gonna go?
Bad.
If I am targeting senior citizens and I market in the newspaper, how's that gonna go?
Wow.
Older people still read the newspaper. Younger people, not so much. You've got to pick the things that match who you're targeting. Okay, next slide. What's the next slide? Competition. Woo! Here is the best thing I've ever heard at a business plan competition. As an investor, when I get to the competition slide, what's the number one thing that I want to hear?
Why you're better.
Why I'm better? Sure. What's the number one thing? Who they are?
There is no competition.
What makes you do? If I get up there and I say, listen to me, I'm here to tell you I got no competition.
That's a lie.
I got no competition. There is nobody that can compete with me. Nobody's doing what I'm doing. I'm all alone. I'm Mr. Solo Cup. Do you think they love to hear that?
No.
I want to kick them so far out. I do. I've heard grown adults get on stage as entrepreneurs and be like, I don't have any competition. And the first thing I think of is, you don't know how to use Google. You are crazy. You all have competition. And here's what I would say. And for those taking notes, and for those who want to say, oh, I've heard this before once they take their first college marketing class, you will hear this. There's direct and indirect competition. My guess is you all have direct competition, meaning there's another origami artist out there. There's another place in the mall that's helping people put together really cool shirts. There are plenty of people who will watch my dog besides Marilyn. There are plenty of places I can get a really nice dress other than with Gensley, if I wanted a dress. There are plenty of places that I can get greeting cards, okay? So that's direct. People doing what you're doing. And so what these two said is spot on. Liam and Brian said, well, we've got to figure out how we're doing it better. So for your direct competition, you've got to look at your competition and figure out what?
Are you better?
Before you can figure out why you're better,
What's wrong with them?
what's wrong with them, or
What are they doing?
what are they doing? What are they doing well? And what are they doing not so well? Okay? And then you've got to pick, here's the most important thing that they're doing that's a risk to me. And when I tell you a risk for my competitor, as an investor, I'm going, I'm glad you know that. I'm glad you know that that's the thing that you have to defend against. James is saying, well, they've got an absolutely, there's a place in the mall that does very much what James wants to do, correct? Mm-hmm. Pretty much the exact same thing. Let me ask you a question. Have you been there yet?
Yeah.
How big is their facility?
It's about like a little bit smaller than this room.
A little bit smaller than this room. Do you think they pay a lot of money for that spot? In the mall?
Oh yeah, probably.
In the Providence Place Mall.
Well, it's in Warwick Mall.
It's in the Warwick Mall. In the Warwick Mall, they're paying a little bit less than Providence Place, but they're still paying a lot for overhead, for rent. Every month they have a lot of what? No matter if they have any customers,
Fixed expenses.
they have a lot of fixed expenses. That's a weakness for that company. You have really low fixed expenses. You got the same size space with all the same equipment. How much do they charge you? Nothing. Good for you. Make it work for you for the moment. That's not going to be the way forever, but that's a resource, that's a network that you have. So that's something that you can compete against. So go out there and find the direct competitors who you've already found great direct competitors, right?
Yeah.
Have two direct competitors. People who are doing what you're doing, know what they're doing well, know what their weakness is, and show how you're doing it better. Then, have an indirect competitor. What's that? Online? Businesses that don't directly affect your business. How do you mean?
So like you said an example that even though Wendy's and say for example Popeyes are both fast food, but they're selling different types of fast food.
Okay, who would say that Wendy's and Popeyes are direct competitors or indirect competitors?
Correct.
Indirect.
Direct, indirect. Indirect.
Popeyes and KFC.
Yeah.
Okay, so Popeyes and KFC direct.
Definitely.
Direct. Popeyes and Wendy's, as fast food people, they are definitely direct in terms of that they're fast food, but there is a little bit of differentiation there. So I would say that they're direct, but they're differentiated, meaning they're doing something different. Now, your hunch is right, by the way. They are not as direct competitors as KFC and Popeyes, like 100%. To use this example, what is an indirect competitor of Popeyes?
KFC.
Indirect.
Oh.
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Well, not
Yep.
necessarily Whole Foods, but like a grocery store.
Okay, a grocery store. Go buy the chicken yourself. Buy the oil yourself. Buy the breadcrumbs yourself, and go home and cook it for less. Cooking at home is an indirect competitor to a fast food joint. You don't pay to cook at home. They're not a business. But I can choose to eat home, save money, maybe get a higher quality food, I would think, and not go to your establishment. So for restaurants, it's kind of cooking at home. If I'm laser tag, if I have a laser tag business, give me an indirect competitor. There's a bunch of other laser tag places, or
Like, they have like these kits where you can do it at home. Like, little.
so there's kits that you can do at home. Great, indirect competitor.
Like
Launch,
trampoline park.
a trampoline park. I'm just looking for a fun night of different entertainment that's a bit active. So I can go go-karts, I can go to launch, I could go paintball, I could go see a movie, right? Those are indirect competitors.
So would it be like trying to put it, like anybody that's giving the consumer the same general end result, but by different means?
Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it. Whereas, what's the end result of our service? Oh, I've got a clean car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can go buy a new car for 30 grand, or I can pay you 100. Some people might have that kind of money. My car's trash. Time to get a new car. I get a new car every year, right? True. I mean, there are people out there just like, I need a new car every year. Somebody sat in the back seat, right? That's an indirect competitor. Just getting a new car. We still get a clean car. We get it very differently. I'm looking for a fun night out. I'm looking to look really, really cool and trendy. So I go get a tattoo instead of going to get your new shirt. I get some cool tattoo that's going to get me attention. That's people are going to go, wow, that's really cool. That's amazing art. Well, a tattoo artist and a t-shirt are very different, but if the end result is I'm getting a lot of cool looks and comments, well then, there you go. Have 2 direct and 1 indirect competitor for your business.
And your template will probably ask for 3 competitors, because entrepreneurs do
More.
more. You will do.
Right. So, and then, just to go through this, your business goes here, and then they're really only asking for 2. I'm telling you do 3. These are 2 direct. Add a column for an indirect competitor. The judges will eat it up. They'll love that you know about that. And then you want to rank them on the factors that you think are most important. Quality cards, creativity of the design. You might also do creativity, quality of the material, whether or not they have an online presence. You might talk about the style of food. You might talk about the size of the portions. You might talk about the price of each individual price or portion. So you can compete on price. You can compete on quality. You can compete on convenience. You can compete on all different factors. Your job is to pick which factors you want to compete on and against. And then once you've got this filled out with the factors that you think are most important, we then start to say, what are your competitive advantages? What are you doing really well that they're not doing? Let me time check. Oh, 12 o'clock. Wow. I have an innate sense for time. You want to say, here's what I'm going to do really well, because I know all the factors that are really good, and then also the weaknesses that I'm going to exploit. This is where I want you up until the next slide is qualification. Beautiful. You already have your qualification slide done. That brings us up to slide number 10, which is what your homework is. So we've done 3 slides today. We went through a lot. I need you to start making decisions around, these are some of my competitors, these are the people I think I want to put in my market, here are the ways that I'm going to reach these people. And by now you should know that I am not expecting perfection on the first round through. So just make decisions, just get stuff on the paper. Questions for me before lunch? There should be at least one. Somebody do it. Yeah.
Are you free today?
I am free today.
Perfect.
Could you just repeat what the factors were?
Sure. So the factors can really be up to you and your decision. Some might be, I'm going to compete on price. I'm going to compete on quality. I'm going to compete on convenience. I'm going to compete on location. You can think about better, faster, cheaper. But then, one of them can be testimonials, right? A factor can be, wow, this business has a ton of testimonials, this one has none. One can be Yelp reviews, right? You get to pick your factors that you want to compete on. One can be, if I'm in the fashion world, an array of styles, right? Oh, they have 15 styles on their website. Gives me way more to choose from. So you get to make those decisions.
Thank you.
Other questions? Bye.
Bye.
I'm here. I'm going to eat lunch, and then we can talk.